50 Cent was never designed by comfort. He was shaped by pressure long before fame arrived. His environment demanded awareness, resilience, calculation. Survival was not a metaphor, it was daily reality, and that foundation built something different from typical celebrity ambition. When he survived being shot multiple times, the story around him transformed permanently. Pain became proof, endurance became identity, authenticity became currency. The industry did not receive a polished pop figure. It encountered a narrative that felt unfiltered, raw, undeniable. Then music amplified that narrative. Get Rich or Die Tryin' did not simply introduce an artist, it announced a force, confidence, aggression, hunger. Every track reinforced the image of someone who had already faced mortality and returned stronger. Cosigns from powerful industry figures accelerated momentum, but momentum alone does not explain longevity. What separates 50 Cent from many artists of his era is foresight. While others chased chart dominance, he studied leverage. While others celebrated visibility, he analyzed ownership. He recognized early that attention creates opportunity, but ownership secures independence. That mindset shifted everything. The vitamin water investment became more than a financial win. It became validation that strategic positioning could outlast music cycles. It signaled that he viewed fame as a launching pad rather than a destination. Then came television and the launch of Power, which redefined his second act. Stepping into executive production meant narrative control, revenue participation, influence behind the camera. He expanded the universe into spin-offs, proving he was not experimenting, he was constructing a media foundation. This transition from rapper to producer was not accidental. It reflected preparation, layered thinking, long-term vision. Yet he never abandoned confrontation. Social media became another arena where he demonstrated psychological awareness, humor, sarcasm, provocation. He understands digital attention mechanics. He knows controversy sustains circulation. He knows that remaining culturally visible prevents irrelevance. Some observers label his online presence as trolling. Others see calculated engagement. Either way, it reinforces one truth: he rarely appears passive. Even conflict feels intentional because in entertainment, perception builds authority. When bankruptcy headlines surfaced years ago, many predicted decline, yet he reframed the narrative. Instead of retreating, he leaned into the conversation, publicly turning scrutiny into strategy. That reaction revealed something deeper: resilience mixed with performance. He treats obstacles as stages rather than setbacks, and that mindset sustains power across cycles. His portfolio now spans music, television, film production, branding, partnerships, live appearances, and business ventures. Diversification provides insulation. When one sector slows, another accelerates. That structure reflects Mogul mathematics: diversify, control, expand, protect image. But tension remains. Can confrontation-driven branding sustain long-term executive credibility? Can constant online engagement age well in a rapidly shifting digital culture? So far, results suggest balance because ratings validate production quality, partnerships validate trust, audiences validate persona. Still, the landscape evolves. Streaming platforms compete, algorithms change, audience expectations shift rapidly. Maintaining relevance requires adaptation, and adaptation has defined his journey from street narrative to mainstream dominance, from recording booths to boardrooms, from artist to infrastructure. Each phase appears sequential rather than random. He does not abandon previous chapters, he stacks them. Music built recognition, recognition built leverage, leverage built media authority builds long-term influence. That stacking effect separates temporary fame from structural presence. Another important layer is image control. 50 Cent rarely positions himself as vulnerable publicly. He projects strength, decisiveness, humor, control. That projection reinforces leadership perception in industries where perception often dictates opportunity. He understands that confidence, even when exaggerated, becomes currency. Yet behind the persona lies analysis. Moves appear reactive but often reflect calculated timing. Announcements coincide with opportunity. Disputes generate engagement. Projects launch during heightened visibility. This pattern reveals awareness of cultural rhythm. He studies audience psychology. He anticipates reaction cycles. He leverages them rather than resisting them. As new artists dominate streaming platforms and new creators capture digital attention, his strategy shifts toward ownership rather than competition. He is not racing newcomers for chart placement. He is building platforms that outlast trends. That distinction signals maturity because trends fluctuate, infrastructure endures. The larger question moving forward concerns scale. Does he deepen television expansion? Does he pursue broader studio control? Does he step into corporate executive leadership at a higher tier? Unpredictability surrounds his next move, yet unpredictability has always fueled his brand. What remains stable is intent to expand, to remain relevant, to control narrative arcs instead of becoming controlled by them. From surviving violence to navigating corporate negotiations, from mixtape circuits to premium network premieres, the trajectory reflects reinvention guided by discipline rather than luck. He rarely frames himself as fortunate, he frames himself as strategic, and that framing shapes public memory. We are witnessing a figure who transformed adversity into authority, who weaponized personality without surrendering ownership, who built multiple revenue layers while maintaining cultural edge. 50 Cent today operates less like a performer chasing applause and more like an architect designing longevity. In a world where fame fades quickly, he constructed scaffolding that supports influence beyond one era. And that construction reveals the core lesson. Survival may spark a career, but strategy sustains an empire. StarTrack America watches figures who adapt across cycles because those who endure are rarely accidental. They are deliberate, calculated, forward-thinking, and 50 Cent embodies that deliberate evolution, where every chapter reinforces the next, and where reinvention is not reaction, but design.